Miraculous Ladybug has done some good with its sixth season. It prioritizes character story, which is a much needed development since we had issues such as a bloated cast. I said it before and I'll say it again. Team Miraculous came off as auxiliary Lucky Charms for Ladybug. Some fans have gone as far as to describe them as Ladybug's Pokemon, because whatever characterization they had as civilians, it did not come over when it came to them being superheroes. They sorta just took Ladybug's orders. It's good to see them build relationships as characters, as both civilians and superheroes, and that line between them being their civilian personalities and their superhero personalities slowly was pulled back. There is another issue. Lila is still the new Hawkmoth named Chrysalis. This Calamity Council Illuminati Gabe is apparently a part of knows that he was Hawkmoth, and Ladybug lied to the whole world. When Alia found out that Gabe was Hawkmoth through a villain's machinations, this drove a rift between her and Marinette almost immediately. Granted, it had to be undone using a memory erasure technique that was introduced in that episode, but this does raise the question, are we indeed setting up a Civil War arc? Because everyone has a reason to break with Ladybug right here. I personally have some reservations with the idea of a Civil War arc. I don't find a Civil War arc worthwhile for what happened last season. It does not change the fact that the issue of Marinette being the sole hero to confront Hawkmoth was done. The Agreste saga does not end with the Agreste family fighting it out and resolving everything. Instead, it ends with Marinette being the center of attention. There's being the protagonist and all the privileges that come with it, and then there's being a black hole that sucks the arc away from other characters in favor of drawing all the attention to themselves. A hypothetical clash between all these characters won't be because Gabriel, Adrien, or any family drama ended up leaking out of the Agreste mansion. Instead, it's going to be about Marinette's choices. Marinette chose to lie to the world. And this council right here has a massive piece of blackmail because Marinette gift-wrapped it to them. You can't make a dead man the center of attention unless you actually bring him back either as a ghost or as an actual corporeal being. And you could argue that the writers can utilize our feelings, our lack of fulfillment, and project them onto Adrien. There's also a problem with Adrien's side of things, and it's not because he is simply not there. See, the narrative treats him like he's made out of glass. We have Felix, Kagami, Marinette, Natalie, all people who are close to him. They're lying to him in order to uphold him in some way and protect him. This is how the X-Men films treated Jean Grey. She was a ticking time bomb ready to go off. And if we do a Civil War arc, the problem with treating Adrien like he's made out of glass and will shatter is that Cat Noir will end up being locked out of important plot developments, and we have seen him get locked out of important plot developments before. Yes, I understand that scenes where Ladybug went to Master Fu to get the Miraculous to give to some side character, that wasn't the narrative coddling Adrien, but at the same time, it's the same level of isolation. Marinette has to be the protagonist. She has to be the black hole that strips away arcs from other people. The problem with insulating Adrien from the plot is that you're going to have to do a lot of legwork in order to fix that. Legwork that you had to split between the faction leaders, Lila, and this Council of Calamity Illuminati stuff. Because Marinette sorta has all the lore with her, Felix has another bit of the lore, and then there is Lila and Natalie. And I don't think Natalie is going to be willing to give Adrien a crash course in all this lore. There's also the other standard storytelling issue when you do a massive Civil War event. The problem with the original Civil War is that you have to deal with the whole everyone is a bit right and everyone is a bit wrong. The problem in a superhero comic is that when everyone's a bit wrong, you have to justify something punching something else. And let's just say the justification where Team Iron Man was so comically evil that the both sides were a little right and both sides were a little wrong came off as moronic. Miraculous hasn't had the best reputation when it comes to writing difficult stories. My problem is that a strong possibility is that Team Miraculous simply ends up being too stupid to be sympathetic. Manipulation plots are great if you can do them properly. Meanwhile, we have Lila, who is no master manipulator, let's say that. Another common problem might as well bring up with this group shot is that the extended cast and the tie-ins could be more interesting. Granted, this is a TV show where you don't have comic tie-ins, but you still have an extended cast, which their focus episodes could simply be more interesting than the main plot. I mean, we all know Lila's going to stoke the flame, so we might as well get everyone's reactions out of that. When working in a story like this, you also need to take into account the matters of reconciliation. You have to have characters cross some lines, but you can't make them cross so many lines without making reconciliation difficult. And I already don't like Adrien because it is toxic as hell with all this manipulation and intrigue, to the point that I am going to question how they are even going to reconcile as friends, let alone significant others after this. On principle, I'm not against the concept of a hero versus hero story. I much prefer what-if tales, but we'll take our battles where we can. The problem is that they can get out of hand. Protagonist-centered morality has been an issue that can only get worse. You have such lopsided focus on factions. You have all sorts of issues with the villain intrigue, who is going to be stoking this to the point that you might risk stripping the agency from the characters and just pinning all the sins on the villains and then just crucifying the villains that way. You want to handle this with tact, but Miraculous, as good as Season 6 is, hasn't exactly been the most tactful. Miraculous Ladybug succeeds when it is focusing on character stories. That's probably why I like Season 6 so far. A lot of the focus is split on character stories. When you're not doing individual character stories, they're building relationships. I don't like the grand narrative because the grand narrative has baggage from the first 5 seasons. The first 5 seasons struggled a lot. Characterization, character focus, and of course, Miraculous grand enemy, escalation. This show cannot write escalation. I mean, Lila is a major antagonist now, starting out as a girl who lied for clout and, well, swerving into some kind of master manipulator. That's a rant for another day, but these are just my thoughts on a Miraculous Civil War. Please consider liking, subscribing, tipping the channel on Ko-fi. This is Cyril signing off.